Hello YouTube, and welcome to a new Elder Scrolls lore video. Today we're talking about the fall of Sunhold, a story from the Second Era, which is in my opinion pretty interesting, and thus I decided to dedicate this video to it. So, since I have nothing else to say to you at the beginning of this video, let's talk about that subject. So, as many of you already know, Sunhold is a city on the Somerset Isles. In fact, it's one of the island's largest cities. It's actually one of the largest cities of southwestern Tamriel altogether. In fact, some people say that Alanor and Sunhold, two cities that are very close together, could actually form one big metropolitan area, bigger than even the Imperial city itself, were it not that the southern Somerset Mountains actually separated the two cities. This makes it so that the two cities, who are actually very close together geographically, actually have a very long distance between them, because of the mountain range. In addition to that, it's not only one of Somerset's largest cities, but it's also one of the most strategically vital locations of the Isles, due to Sunhold being the site of the largest Altmerry shipyard and harbour on Tamriel. Ships are continually built in its harbours, and warships are more often than not docked here in times of peace. This makes the city a prime target for any foreign invading force, resulting in the fact that ever since its foundation in the late Meretic era, the city has been continually harassed by the invading Sea Elves, or the Maormer. For centuries, the Sea Elves have tried to conquer the city in order to have it serve as a stepping stone for their invasion of the Somerset Isles. For example, in the mid-Second Era they tried to conquer the city, but back then their attempt was decisively thwarted by Sunhold's ruler at the time, King Lady Helenaer, who rode into battle on the back of a griffin named Sunhold, a great griffin of the line of the Meretic era griffin Silhenwe, the first griffin to be tamed by the elves, and first griffin protector of Sunhold. Because this griffin was the first griffin to be ever tamed, and it was tamed in Sunhold, the griffins became the city's symbol, and Silhenwe's descendants would become the companions of the city's ruler family and fearsome protectors of the city. With the Griffin Protector on her side, King Lady Helenaer, together with the Navymir stationed at Sunhold, thwarted the invasion of the Sea Elf Admiral Viscarn, bringing back peace to the area for several years. However, that peace wasn't to last, as not long after this failed invasion by the Sea Elves, the Great Three Banners War broke out, and the newly formed Altmerry Dominion, Daggerfall Covenant, and the Ebonheart Pact went to war against each other. This war made it so that the Altmerry Dominion was completely mobilized, and its fleet had to sail out to combat the navies of the Daggerfall Covenant and the Ebonheart Pact. This made it so that the great harbours of Sunhold lay mostly empty during this time, with only a bare-bones fleet to defend the ship production in the harbour, which was still going on to produce new ships for the war. Admiral Viscarn of the Sea Elves then returned, with the city left vulnerable. He now headed the special Sea Elf unit called the Storm Sharks, and the Admiral and his Storm Sharks devised a way to trap Sunhold, the Griffin, using a magical device, making it so that the Great Griffin Protector of the city couldn't actually defend the city. This, in combination with the bare-bones defense of the city, had Viscarn's Storm Sharks marching into the city, taking complete control of the area without any significant resistance to hold them back, because they were significantly outnumbered in the city. The Sea Elves then imprisoned the population and hunted down the Kin Lady, who was forced to flee. The Admiral declared that the attacks against the citizenry would only end if Kin Lady Helenaer would surrender her head to him, aka be executed by him. However, the Kin Lady wasn't ready to die and fled the city and waited for reinforcements outside with what men she was able to flee with. Unfortunately, the reinforcements were spare, and the Kin Lady had to rely on mercenaries and travelers to take back her city. You, as the player of the Elder Scrolls Online, and the other players playing with you, are among these travelers and can help the Kin Lady take back the city together. As part of the take-back force, you free the citizens captured by the invading force, and you fight your way through the narrow, labyrinth-like streets of the city. Halfway through the city, you free the Griffin, Sunhold, by destroying the contraption that keeps him down, and he then flies off to wreak havoc on the invading force of the city. With the Griffin freed, you head down to the harbour of the city, while the Griffin fights the occupying force in the city. In the harbour, you destroy the Maormer invading force's survival supplies, and you then head back down to the market district, where you join the fight against the invading force again. When you return to the city, it turns out that the Kin Lady has been taken prisoner by Admiral Viscarn in an attempt to thwart the resistance. However, you, being the great hero, manage to kill the Admiral and then free the Kin Lady. Now leaderless, the Maormer invaders are forced to retreat, and together with the Griffin's help, the Kin Lady managed to drive the invading force from the city. This is essentially the story of the Sunhold public dungeon in the Elder Scrolls Online, a dungeon which I personally very much enjoyed, so I decided to give its story its own video. That said, we have now reached the end of today's video, and I sincerely hope that you enjoyed it. I'm still feeling a bit under the weather, so I'm sorry if my voice is a bit monotone today. If you enjoyed it, I hope to see you again next week in the next Elder Scrolls lore video on the channel. And before I end it, allow me to vocally thank my top patrons, Mr. Bernardo Binda, Gabriel Binda, Mr. Para, Hammer of the Scots, and Mr. Christmas. These people, along with all the others on screen, make my weekly lore videos possible, and for that I'm very grateful. That said, this video is now at an end, and I will see you all next time. Bye bye.